Hi, beautiful people. So I'm going to be going over the biggest transit of the year. If you're in the Uranus North Node Mars conjunction, I'm really excited for this transit. The United States is also in their second phase, I believe it is, or third phase of the Pluto return. So there's a lot going on. There's a lot changing. It's okay to change your mind. It's okay to change things up. It's okay to want to do something one way or wanting to have some certain thing, and then later realizing, oh, I don't actually want that thing. I want something else, or I want to do something else, or, you know, it's okay to change your mind. It's okay to change how things are. And I feel that through the current transits, this is one of the biggest things that we're learning as a collective, as a whole, as a society, is that change is really the only constant. This is why change is so important, and this is, I feel, really leading us up to this really important transit that will be at a height, going off my trusty Human Design ephemeris here. This transit will peak on the 1st of August when Mars, the North Node, and Uranus are both in gate 2 with line 6. But you can see here that 2 in the G center and that diamond, the yellow diamond, there's a 2. That is gate 2. That is where Uranus has been for a while. That's where the North Node will transit to on, let me see the exact date of the 31st actually. So right before this transit peaks, the North Node will move into gate 2 and the South Node will move into gate 1. Both of those gates, as you can see here on the screen, are in the G center. The G center, the identity center, rules it houses rather the magnetic monopole. That is literally what drives us. Gate 2 is considered the key of our vehicle. So you might have seen before, I've talked about the difference between your unconscious and your conscious side in Human Design in both of your charts. So you can actually have 3 different charts in Human Design depending on what your unconscious is, what your quantum is, and what your conscious is. Your unconscious, or your body, or your design is your literal vehicle. Your quantum chart is the driver of that vehicle. Your conscious chart is the passenger in that vehicle. Gate 2, where the North Node, Uranus, and Mars are going to be in about 10 days, is the key to your vehicle. If you have gate 14, this is going to create the keeper of the key, or the keeper of the keys channel of the beat, that is going to create this sacral response to your G center that is going to pull you in either a new direction or feel reinvigorated and fixated on just shifting your direction or getting just more clarity on where you're already headed and how you can really align with what is meant for you in terms of that direction. So this is a really big, I feel like I'm not doing this transit justice just yet because there's a buildup that needs to happen before I really get into like the nitty gritty of what this transit is going to bring to us. And again, I'm coming at this from an individual level. I'm not really, what's needed is for us to focus on our own individual direction. Gate 2 is the gate of direction of the self. Like, it's called the receptive because it's all about what direction are you going? What direction do you want to go in? What direction do you know you're meant to go in? And how is the universe, how is the world around you showing that to you? It's almost like when things are a success, when things feel really satisfying, when things feel really good, that's the universe showing you that's what's meant for you. You're going in the right direction. And if you're already there, this transit is going to be like easy breezy for you. It's going to be like a rocket. It's going to be like you're taking off. I talked about this in my July monthly, what is that called? Like prediction. What did I call that? I'm like totally blank. This is like my right brain right now. I can't remember like hardly anything that I create. So anyways, my July update, that's what it's called. In my July update, I talked about how the second month or the second half of July, really starting with like this week, is going to be like a rocket ship, right? And like I said, gate 2 is like this key that we have to turn on the rocket ship and to get it going in the direction that we're moving. So that's what really I see this transit being. And we're really with Mars. So Mars moves into gate 2 on the 25th. So that's when we'll kind of feel like a ramp up to this energy, with it peaking around the 1st of August. And actually this ephemeris that I'm using is in like universal time. So it might be, you know, give or take, depending on your time zone that you're in. It depends on when exactly during the day or what part of the day this will like happen for you. But really, like the 30th, the 31st, and the 1st are really going to be really, I just said really a lot, going to be really big ramp up days. And again, if you have a defined G center, this is really going to, or defined sacral, or both, this is really going to catapult you in a new direction. So really consult your chart and see what gates you have that will be connecting to the gates that will be in transit during that time, because that's going to give you more insight into what energy, what channels, and what definition and what gates that you have in your chart that aren't normally active that will be activated by these transits that you can utilize during this time. That's really what transits are. It's like you have this energy to be able to take advantage of. So it's really important to know how these transits are affecting you and how you can take advantage of the energy, which I'm going to be doing. If you haven't seen already, I'm going to be doing a class on right after this transit, actually the 2nd of August, to help you understand how to work with the human design transits, how to bring in astrology into the human design transits, and why astrology doesn't cover the full picture and why human design does, and how you can really read it to make the most of how this is affecting you as an individual and your chart and what it's bringing in for you. So this is a big, big, big time. I feel like everything I've been, like all of my updates I've done this whole year have really been gearing us for this time that we're about to step into, of like, we're like climbing a mountain. You know, when you climb a mountain and there's all those false summits and you're like, oh, that's the top. And then you get there and you're like, oh no, we're still really far from the top. Maybe that's the top. And then you get to the other false summit and you're like, dang it, I thought I was there. I thought that was the top of the mountain. But you keep climbing. That's literally what this whole year has been like. And you have times, right, before you get to the real summit of the mountain where you're like, I thought this was it. I'm gonna quit because I'm so tired and like I can't go on anymore. But you like eat a snack or whatever, you know, you recharge yourself and you keep going. That's really what we're gearing up to right now. And that's the top of the mountain is this transit. And especially because it will be in line 6, like the line of the role model, the line of, you know, being an authority and sharing your direction to inspire and empower others. That's really what this whole transit and what this whole, I mean, all of the transits that will be going on at this time, I really wish I could show you guys, will be about, is like, how are you influencing, how are you empowering not only yourself with where you're going in your direction in life, but how are you empowering and inspiring the people around you? Even if you're not really truly conscious or overtly aware of how you're impacting, how you're inspiring, what the impact you have on what you're doing is empowering or inspiring others, like it is. And that is just because of your way of being, and this transit is only going to amplify that. Especially with this new moon in Leo we have on the 28th, which will be like right before this transit, which will be in, I believe, gate 31. Let me double check. Yeah. The new moon in Leo will be in gate 31, which is the gate of influence. So this time is all about, okay, what ways do you want to use your gifts? What ways do you want to share your gifts with the world? How can you make changes, right? Like I talked about at the beginning of this video, like right now, let me turn off this picture because I'm not using it anymore. Right now is a great time to get clarity on what are your gifts? What do you love to share? What do you love to teach about? What do you love to learn about? Kind of like I said in my July update, which is on my podcast and on my YouTube. The first half of this month was really a big time of like introspection, of research. And we'll kind of be going back into that phase when the North Node moves into line 1 on the 26th. You might be feeling called to like do more research, do more investigation, have a little bit more introspection when it comes to like your environment or your destiny, right? Because the nodes are like your driving force through life, kind of like, it's like what is, you know, what is around you and how is that impacting what you want, how you want to move forward and how you want to maybe change your direction. And like I said at the beginning of this video, I totally got off on a tangent before I finished that thought, is how can you make changes to your life and how can you have this reframe, this attitude of like, it's okay to change my mind. It's okay to change your mind. It's okay to do things differently. It's okay to realize like, oh, I don't actually want to do things this way. I want to change what I was doing. And this is like, especially if you're a manifesting generator or you've had a lot of manifesting generators around you, like if your parents were manifesting generators and you were conditioned by manifesting generators to want to do things really quickly, this is a huge, huge lesson, is to not always judge, especially if you're an emotional authority too. There's a lot of factors at play here. This will resonate with a lot of people, I'm sure, but it's like, it's so important not to just like jump on things as soon as they come into your field, and to really like kind of allow yourself to slow down, especially